Hey all, this is 012 Boku coming at you with another movie review, and today we are moving right along, and I'm not gonna promise that there will be more weekly uploads, because I would like to do weekly uploads now that I think about it, because I need to take time to start doing more of these, because I like to do these, and also cleaning my home. And as of right now, it's 6:25 p.m., but I was woke up late this morning, had to do my shopping, and had a shower, and, just ate a little bit ago, so, it's like, stuff can get behind. I'll admit, I am definitely not a night owl. I am a morning person, and I know this review is coming to you a tad late, not my best effort, really. I mean, I usually hopefully have these started by now, but oh well. But I figured I would come at you today with Con Air. And jeez Louise, that glare is bad on this. How's it over? Yeah, that's better. I may hold it in my right hand. My God, that glare is terrible. But Con Air, as you guys see. Boom, boom, Con Air. Basically, what it is Con Air, is a great movie and all that jazz. It's an action movie that they, did in, I think it was, 97, possibly, let's see here. Does not, but I believe this movie was done in 1997. Oh darn! I lost my script part again. Oh well, that's like definitely not the. So sorry, I'm writing scripts again. I'm getting into that too, and I realize my stuff has not been saving on my things, but I also realized I didn't have everything ready to go, but I'm getting that ready now. But yeah, Con Air is a great action movie, I believe, made in 97. I'll get that confirmed here as I get RottenTomatoes.com trademark put up, and let's see what that is here. So yeah, give me... Wow, best LGBTQ movies of all... Does that even friggin' matter? Oh my God, Hollywood with their political ways of doing things. Woohoo! Guess what? I don't care, and I'm betting there's a lot of people like me who agree with that statement. Why the hell? I mean, I don't know why that's important. Like, I would say maybe the best Risk movies ever. Or the best, I mean, just, hell, I would say, come out and say it, the best homosexual or lesbian movies ever. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, boy. But sorry, I just saw that on Rotten Tomatoes right here, just come in. Let me get Con Air up so we can do my normal thing with you guys, and, aha! I am right, yeah. So Con Air was made in 1997, a good year for films. There were a lot of good films that year, and it's an overall great film. It is not the best film, and wow, there is a huge difference, guys, between critics and audience score. Again, I will say that right now. There is a huge difference with everybody. Holy crap! Wow, that is nutty to me indeed. Let's see. We'll keep going here, and. Like, this movie, again, sorry for going over it, but yeah, trying to find my place here again with you guys, so apologies if I'm a little like that. I did not have everything ready to go. That is my fault. But yeah, it takes place in 1997, and it is about it stars and is about Nicolas Cage, who plays I believe Cameron Poe. Let me double check that. I do believe it is Cameron Poe. Yep, he plays Cameron Poe, and Nicolas Cage was this Marine who went in for training. I do believe he was also involved in skirmishes and or in a war at the time, but he is a trained combat Marine. You know, I think he may have been even a colonel or a lieutenant. I don't remember off the top of my head. But, you know, went through all the training, was a proud soldier, proud to serve his country. Like I said, may have been in a war or skirmishes and whatnot. And, you know, they have a great opening where, you know, we see all that. Like, it's a little mini montage with a narration of, I believe, their commander or commanding officer giving credit to Cameron Poe and the men he was with in his unit, or, you know, the graduating class, you know, whichever it was. And, you know, Cameron Poe misses home, and he misses his wife, and I believe they may have been from Georgia or Alabama. I know it's definitely a southern city, and yeah, they don't mention it here, but he's definitely from one of those two southern cities. I do believe. I think it's Georgia, if I'm not too mistaken, if I do believe. But you know, he's headed back home. He meets his wife. His wife and his friends are all happy to see him. And you know, Nicolas Cage has this, you know, nice suave debonair. I know a lot of people say, you know, Nicolas Cage is way over the top. He can be, and you know, he can be goofy, he can be strange, and believe me, I have seen a lot of people do other reviews, and I agree with what people say about most reviews. His two strangest top played roles have definitely been Face Off, which is a great movie either way. I still want to own that movie, and I definitely will review that movie for you guys once I own it. But Face Off is one of his greatest, and as well, besides Face Off, there's also the remake of The Wicker Man, which is awful. Wicker Man, the remake of The Wicker Man was awful. The original 1975 version with Christopher Lee, Edward Woodward, and Britt Eklund and stuff like that. That's a great fucking movie. That is a great fucking movie right there. But yeah, the remake, oh god, I have no idea what's going on, but I agree with what, and I will quote Nostalgia Critic here, or semi-quote him. I agree with what Nostalgia Critic said. When he runs up to a person who has his daughter, and he's in a bear costume, and he hits the person in a bear costume, that is hilarious. Edward Woodward played the fool who was looking for, he's looking for a girl named Renette Morrison, who was taken to this place, or like, you know, the island called him, and he's looking for Renette Morrison, and, you know, he thinks there's something going on, and he's trying to save Renette Morrison, and, you know, so Edward Woodward, the original, you know, cop, is doing that. Sergeant Howie, that's his name in the original Wicker Man. He's playing that sort of character, and, you know, I mean, it makes sense because he's a fool, but Nicolas Cage is in a bear costume, and he just whacks the person holding his daughter. So those two are probably the greatest, like, goofiest roles he's had. But as Cameron Poe, he's, like, subdued, he's calm, he's got the nice southern gentlemanly act, I think, going on. He also has a tough exterior throughout this movie, and, you know, he shows it well, in my opinion. But overall, getting back to what he was about in this film, like, he's dancing with his wife. We have these three drunkards, like, coming up to him and, you know, making, you know, trouble for his wife and for him. And, you know, they're making fun of him for being a soldier. You know, they're looking at his medals or teasing him, and they want to cut in on his wife. And, you know, Cameron Poe's wife's trying to get him to back off. You know, Cameron's trying to handle it as nicely as he can. But look in Nicolas Cage's eyes, he's playing Cameron Poe, is I want to fucking deck you upside the head 5 ways from Sunday and leave you in the dirt. But, you know, I mean, the bartender and his wife calm things down. You know, they have a dance, and I think it's how can I be without you, or whatever the song is. I forget who sings that song, but, you know, classic song. It's used twice in this movie, at the beginning part of this movie and at the end. And, you know, I mean, it goes well. And we learn that, you know, from Cameron Poe, that, or no, from Cameron Poe's girlfriend, wife, that, it's his wife. They were a girlfriend, it's his wife. Sorry, it's been a while since I've seen this, so trying to recall everything. And, you know, Cameron Poe learns that his wife's pregnant and he's going to have a child, and, you know, he's all happy and a titter about it. And, you know, so they dance to their song. You know, they leave the bar. As they're leaving the bar, the rain is pouring down. The bartender's the only one still there. You know, Cameron Poe and his wife are the last to leave. Then these 3 douchebags come back. They start harassing, you know, Cameron Poe. They're surrounding him. You know, Poe's wife is trying to get him to stop, but they're not listening. Poe runs in to get the bartender, and what happens is they're surrounding Poe. I think the main guy rips Poe's medals off, which, as you know, as a soldier, any type of soldier, doesn't matter where you're from, you rip a guy's medals off from their uniform like that. That is, in my opinion, an act of disgrace, because, you know, Cameron Poe earned those bravely and honorably. You know, that's definitely an insult to any soldier that there is, in my opinion, or one of the big insults that you could do. And, you know, they're starting to beat him up. One guy has I think a type of pipe or metal pole, and they're, you know, beating up on Cameron Poe. You know, Cameron Poe fights back, and, you know, he's beating him up. He's using his training, and, you know, you think like 3 guys could take it, but you got to remember, 1, action movie, of course, and 2, you know, Cameron Poe is a Marine, so I could definitely see a Marine, if he was definitely a top Marine, beating the crap out of 3 drunks. I could literally see that happening. And, you know, that's what Poe does. He gets his composure, beats the crap out of the first 2 guys, and then the main guy comes at him. He has a switchblade. He tries to get Cameron Poe with the switchblade. Cameron Poe basically, like, uses his palm and palm strikes him, like, right there up through the orbital bone, and just like bam, like that. So obviously I bet he broke his nose and broke his orbital cavity into his head, killing him. And, you know, I mean, we all saw, you know, Monica Potter, because that's who plays Cameron Poe's wife. But Cameron Poe's wife comes back, the bartender comes out too, they're seeing what's happened. You know, Cameron just sort of sinks to his knees, you know, oh my god, I killed a guy. Again, he didn't mean to, it was self-defense, but what happens is Cameron Poe does go to jail. He's before court, and the court says, you know, we do know you were acting in self-defense, but we think because you are a trained combat Marine, your whole body and your life is a weapon to be used. So we think you probably need to calm down and do your time for justice. So we're sending you to prison. I think it was for about 8 to 10 years. They sent him to prison, which I even think for an accidental murder, you know, for him was a bit much, because the judge thought he was a dangerous weapon. You know, he thought that was the best course of action, which, you know, I mean, I don't know how the courts would really look at that today or whatnot, but I personally think for an accidental death when you're in defense, when the other person was going to try to kill him, you know, that was a bit much. So, like, yeah, you can look at that however you want, but, man, I don't know what to take from that, really. And we see, you know, Poe in prison, and, you know, he's coping with it. He has a friend named Baby O that he befriends there, another criminal who's doing time for stuff. And then, you know, Poe's just, like, making his way through prison, doing life. You know, he's reading, he's I think he's learning different languages, as we see. He's writing to his wife, writing to his daughter. His wife writes back when their daughter is born, and when their daughter gets older, the daughter's looking forward to meeting him. He's looking forward to meeting her. And we see a montage where, you know, Cameron Poe is just working through the prison, and, you know, like he sleeps through prison riots and he does like different types of things and all that stuff. So, you know, he's being on his good behavior and doing what he can. When he finally gets his parole and is about to be set free, he gets put on a flight, and he's going to, you know, head home. And he gets put on a prison flight with his friend Baby O, and, you know, they're getting ready to go through everything that they need to. And what happens is they run into the other characters, Diamond Dog, Billy Bedlam, I think another guy, I don't think it's Nathan Jones, but Cyrus, the Virus Grissom, and all these other guys. And, you know, Poe is noticing something while he's on this plane, that something doesn't seem to be right. He has a feeling. He doesn't know if he should do anything about it or yet, but he's watching these guys, and then he notices how, like, a couple other of the prisoners are, you know, doing things and stuff, and when he realizes that they're all breaking free to get out, he's trying to, you know, he wants to get up and help the guards and the prison police fight these guys off, but he can't because he's, like, restrained into the seats with his cuffs, and, you know, he can't do anything about it. So basically what he does is he goes along for the ride because, you know, Baby O, like, needed his insulin. His insulin gets, you know, broken in the scuffle of the prisoners trying to free themselves. You know, he doesn't want to leave the prison guards alone with these guys because, you know, these guys, knows a lot of these guys are killers. And Cyrus the Virus Grissom is, you know, a dangerous individual. Same thing with Diamond Dog and all that type of stuff. So, like, you know, he goes through this whole movie trying to alert police, alert the FBI, alert all the people trying to take this stuff down while keeping up the act that, you know, he's been in prison this entire time. And it's actually, you know, really cool to see Nicolas Cage, you know, do this type of stuff, playing Cameron Poe, playing the prisoner. He's very good at being a stoic, like, bad guy when he's pretending, like, you know, like, he sort of bumbles his way through, but he actually convinces, you know, Cyrus, Diamond Dog. Billy Bedlam is the only guy who believes he's not legit, but then they have a fight in the bottom of the plane, and, like, Cameron Poe kills him and takes him out, which, you know, then causes, Cameron Poe to be discovered by Cyrus and everybody, and then, you know, it just becomes a whole thing where Cyrus and Poe are going at it, and, you know, all this, like, different, like, antics, and, you know, the plane crashes at one point in Las Vegas, because, Poe, Cameron Poe and Cyrus, like, sort of ruined the plane a little bit. The FBI try to shoot them down unsuccessfully, you know, and they're not trying to, like, hurt the good people on the plane, or at least one of them isn't. John Cusack's character isn't, but Cole Meany's character is trying to, like, bring him down instantly. And, you know, you get actually a cool fight scene where when Cyrus Grissom and Diamond Dog and the guy who, the prison officer who was flying the plane, who I guess, like, hijacked a lot of planes in his time, were, like, trying to get away, you know. They have a fight with, like, motorcycles and on top of a fire truck. It's just, it's really, really cool stuff. Like, it's a really fun action movie, and, you know, just great stuff overall. And, you know, Nicolas Cage, I mean, plays the character really well. I gotta always remember that line with Billy Bedlam when he kills him, and it's like, because, like, Billy Bedlam had a bunny and he was reading Poe's like, parole letter, and, like, you know, he's, like, messing with it, and, you know, and, like, Cameron Poe's like, please put the bunny back in the box. And then, like, when they're going at it, and, like when Cameron Poe kicks Billy Bedlam, and Billy Bedlam ends up going through a pipe tube that, you know, goes through his body, and he's sitting there just like, dead. You know, Cameron Poe's like, you should have put the bunny back in the box. It's like, I mean, it's really just a fun overall film. And, you know, I think Nicolas Cage, you know, I mean, does it great. He played Cameron Poe to a T. Oh, man. Very good stuff. Alright, and we will move on here. We have... Ow. I mean, hit my elbow there, but we have... Yes, John Cusack, who plays... Oh, that's his name. U.S. Marshal Vince Larkin. And, Larkin, is a character in this movie, second bill main character. He's basically the guy, the, flight, prison marshal who, like, is in charge of putting these, prisoners on the plane, supplying the plane with weapons, making sure the plane, works. Basically, he calls it his plane, because he's the main guy who oversees everything. He knows, a lot about these criminals. He knows, what goes on with most of them, and he's always worried about these transfers. And this transfer that's coming through with Cameron Poe, Baby O, Cyrus Grissom, Diamond Dog, and all these other guys, he knows this is extremely dangerous, so he's really nervous. The FBI come, and there's like he has a huge scuffle with him. His Vince Larkin's CO is, trying to reassure him that, hey, everything's going to be okay, stuff's going to be good. And, he explains to everybody who everybody is, sets it up. The FBI are giving him a hard time. And basically there is a man on this flight that the FBI are sending a plant in on the plane they want to basically have this plant interrogate one of the prisoners so they can get information from one of the guys that they want to convict. And the FBI dude wants to give him a gun. Vince Larkin's like, no, there's no other guns on the plane. The only person who has a gun on the plane is the pilot, and then we have, a small arsenal in the underbelly of the plane. There's no guns, though, anywhere else on this flight for the prisoners to get a hold of. So, I mean, as you can imagine, all the stuff happens. The breakout on the plane happens. Vince Larkin is freaking out, not knowing what's going to happen. The FBI, again, is giving him a hard time because, you didn't have everything set up, Larkin. You're a fool. You thought you had everything well in hand. Well, you didn't. And, it goes along where, the guys escape. And while they're waiting, the FBI guy, pulls a gun out that his companion gave to him, and he's trying to take control of the situation. Cameron Poe's trying to calm the guy down. Vince Larkin and the FBI are overhearing this, getting upset, and what happens is Cyrus Grissom had the gun that he got from the pilot in the cockpit. And so he had the gun and everything already, and they're in a standoff, and obviously the FBI plant is getting nervous, and I forget what happens, but something happens where, one of the guys charges the FBI plant. The plant shoots one of the prisoners, and then Cyrus, I think, shoots the guy. I think it was in the chest. I don't think it was in the head, because it was in the chest, and Cameron Poe catches him, and they sort of lock eyes about, like, holy crap, you were sort of right, I should have played this cool, I shouldn't have freaked out, and, it became, like, a huge thing, and the FBI are blaming Larkin, and, Larkin's having none of it. Like, John Cusack plays his character to a T, where, you sort of look at Cusack in this movie as a nerdy guy, not tough at all, but you can see where he's well composed. He does have police training, he is a pretty tough guy, he's not willing to take shit, and he actually goes off on his own away from the FBI to track down the plane and these criminals. And we find out that he even steals the FBI Cole Meany's car, which has a nice reference to Star Trek. I'll probably mention it later when we get to talk about Cole Meany, of course. And he takes his car, goes to the airfield, to where when he gets to the airfield, he's finding that people at the small little airfield where the convict plane is going to land, he finds out that the people running the place are dead. the traffic controller guy has been killed, and there's people waiting for this. Sal Bendino. Sal Bendino is this one Colombian drug lord, and Sal Bendino's men are waiting for them to get there. They took out the people there, and Vince Larkin is trying to just make sense of everything. And Vince Larkin knows that Cameron Poe is trying to alleviate the situation because he realizes there's he finds out that Cameron Poe's on the plane and that he's trying to help out. He's a combat marine. He had an accidental death. Could have happened to any one of us. Why didn't he get off the plane when he had a chance to? In fact, there's a part in the scene where Cameron Poe wanted to get off the plane, but he didn't want to leave Baby O, and he didn't want to leave any of the guards that they still had hostage there. So he was going to see this whole thing through because, in the Marine mind, you don't leave anyone behind. So Vince Larkin knew it, and what I like is when the plane lands and Larkin's hiding out, and you have Cameron Poe, run into him. I love when they're both standing off against each other. They have that, so I'm Marshal Vince Larkin, I've been overhearing you, I believe you, and Cameron Poe believes him. I mean, after a little while, he's nervous around him, doesn't know what to suspect, and but they both believe in each other, and he's like, I'm going to get this and stop the plane, and I think there's a part where Vince Larkin attaches Sal Bendino's plane to a post, and when Sal Bendino and his pilot are trying to take off, the plane crashes and tips over and goes to the ground, leaks fuel. Cyrus kills Sal Bendino and all that type of stuff, and it's just so cool. And actually, when the plane lands in Vegas, when they're trying to shoot. Well, actually, even before that, before they're even trying to shoot down the plane, the FBI are trying to just take care of them and kill them right away. Vince Larkin is saying, let Poe handle this, because Poe at this time, has been discovered. He's trying to stop Cyrus, keep everything in order. Poe is, Larkin is just trying to convince the FBI, saying, no, let him do this, let him get this done, and stop this guy. And, they're having none of it, but at the very end, they actually do listen, and when the plane lands, and, you have Grissom, Diamond Dog, and all these other guys trying to get away, you have Larkin go with Poe to help out at the very end, and, it's a really cool moment that these two guys just actually work together at the end to take down these criminals. And again, John Cusack plays this nerdy guy. He actually has a very tough exterior, very smart exterior as well. Not a dumb character at all. Well put together. John Cusack plays Vince Larkin very well. We also have, John Malcovich, who plays Cyrus the Virus Grissom, who, in this movie, what can I say about Cyrus the Virus Grissom? Cyrus Grissom is a complete psychopath. Intelligent, yes. Scary, yes. Composed, but can he lose it really quick? Yes. And does he have a sick sense of humor? Yes. So, John Malcovich played it to a T. Cyrus Grissom is a character you love to hate. What he did to escape from the flight when they have him, I forget what Vince Larkin says. I think Larkin said that Grissom played or killed several parole officers and tried to stage several breakouts, but they were always able to get him contained. What happens is while they're on this flight, you have Cyrus Grissom being coy. He asks one of the main guards, "Oh, stewardess, what is the in-flight movie for us today?" And I think I forget what the guard says, but it's "Oh, you're gonna like it, Cyrus. It's about a man who shot his mother and went to prison, and if he doesn't keep quiet, the guards are gonna shut his mouth, and they're gonna kick the crap out of him, and you're gonna be in prison for the next 15 years." Or it was something like that. It was something pertaining to Cyrus and stuff like that. And like the guard laughs and walks away, and you know Cyrus is like, huh, funny fucker, aren't you? And you know, it's like you get all those things. And after the guard leaves, we have this little pin that comes out of Cyrus's thumb that he kept tucked underneath his skin. So he pulls this pin out, and he basically unlocks his cuffs. And same thing with Diamond Dog. Diamond Dog has the same setup, and they break out. And what happens is you have Pinball, this character Pinball, like regurgitate this gasoline fluid that he had in the bag in his mouth, takes it out of the bag, sprays it on a fellow convict, you know, lights him on fire. Everybody's trying to get the convict out and stuff like that. And then, you know, you have Pinball trying to take the keys from the guards and try to open up the gates that both Diamond Dog and Cyrus are locked in. You have other police guards trying to stop him, and you know everything's going nuts. Cyrus gets out. He basically viciously kills one of the guards by like cutting his throat and everything. And then you have Cyrus, you know, trying to make it to the cockpit, which he does. And then, you know, like the pilot see the commotion in the cockpit. The co-pilot takes the gun out, and then like he goes out there. He has a little fight with Cyrus, but Cyrus shoots him and kills him. And then like he shoots the gun on the plane, to where, you know, it bounces around because, you know the plane's armored. It's not going to break like a regular plane, so it can withstand some bullet shots. But he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I have the only gun on this plane. Welcome to Con Air." And you know, that's how it kicks off with him. And you know, they start out by, you know, setting everything up and, you know, getting things ready. You know, like the prisoners that are set free are abusing the guards. He's like loving it. And then, you know, during the time, like like, you know, Larkin finds this out. And Larkin's wondering what the hell happens. You have guards go to Cyrus Grissom's cell, to where they're taking out a bunch of books, and to where, you know, there's this Last Supper picture where the eyes are all cut out, and like, you know, but they're placing it on this map in these books to where it explains where Cyrus is going. And then, you know, like Larkin's realizing this, and Larkin tells the guards not to touch anything else of Cyrus's. And then they find this little lunchbox of Cyrus's inside where they found his escape plan in the wall. And he opens they open the lunchbox stupidly, and then the whole thing blows up, killing the guards and destroying the room, so they can't use any of the evidence to find them. To which, you know, Larkin's like, oh shit, and that starts that whole escapade. When they get to their next right before they get to their next land-off point, you know, the one FBI plant comes out, you know, he's trying to contain the situation, and when Cyrus kills him, you know, like, you have the FBI getting mad, and, you know, they say to Cyrus, you know, "You cocksucker, you shot one of my guys, I'm gonna make you pay, I'm gonna bring your fucking ass down." And then, you know, you have Cyrus with this very sick song that, you know, John Malcovich is, you know, great at saying. He just basically sings to the FBI, "Oh, nothing makes me sadder than the agent lost his bladder on the aeroplane." And it's like, man, you know, it's like, again, it's a little funny, but it's like at the same time, it's like, man, this guy is a sick fuck. So again, you really got this idea that, you know, John Malcovich just plays Cyrus Grissom the way we would. You really love to hate this guy, because this guy is despicable. Cyrus Grissom has no redeeming qualities about him whatsoever. You know, it's like, holy shit. You know, and as it goes on, you know, we find out when they get to their next drop-off point that Cyrus Grissom was working all this stuff out with Sal Bendino, and, you know, that they were going to, like, take off on this flight, you know, all these prisoners and them were going to take off on another plane and, you know, get away. What Grissom didn't know was Sal Bendino was trying to basically, escape himself. He was going to double-cross Cyrus and all the other guys, to where, you know, when everything goes haywire and the FBI and the men find out where they're all at, you know, you have Sal Bandino's plane crash, and Sal Bandino, you know, stumbles out of the plane. He's all covered in the plane's fuel, and he's like telling Cyrus, he's like, "Oh, Cyrus, I was coming to come get you. You gotta believe me. You know, I wasn't gonna leave you." And he's like, "Cyrus, you have to help me." And then, like, one of the prisoners is smoking a cigarette. Cyrus takes the cigarette out of the guy's mouth, and he's about to flick it, and, you know, like, Sal Bandino's going like, "Cyrus, sight," and then Cyrus just goes, after he says sight, he's like, "Sight," Anara, flick, and then the fuel goes on the guy burns up with all the fuel on him, and then the plane explodes, and then, as that, you know, is going on, we have the police show up to where, Cyrus, Grissom, and all the other guys get into the underbelly of the plane to take out the guns, and they're basically shooting up all the cops to where, you know, Larkin and Poe have to stage, you know, rescue efforts to save all the cops that are in danger, which they do, and they all make their escape, and, you know, that's where, again, Diamond Dog and a few others find Billy Bedlam, and, you know, they find him dead, and they find out that Cameron Poe's been working against him, and that's where, you know, Poe and Cyrus get into their huge fight, you know, like, Poe's threatening that, and, like, you know, he starts, and, like, oh yeah, there's a part where, when, you know, he has his parole letter, he's like, "Okay, who's on parole? Who, you know, double-crossed us? Somebody killed Billy Bedlam. Someone, you know, warned the cops that we were at that airport. You know, who's double-crossing us?" And then, you know, you have Cameron Poe about to stand up, but then Baby-O stands up and says, you know, "It was me." And then, you know, Grissom shoots him, and then Grissom, you know, basically sees how Cameron Poe reacts to Baby-O getting shot, and then, you know, he starts reading the letter that Cameron Poe had. "My daddy is coming home on July 14th. I'm going to see my daddy on July 14th. And then, like, he takes out the gun that he has, and he's like, make a move, because, like, again, the bunny gift that Poe was going to give to his daughter, takes the bunny, points the gun at, and he's like, "Make a move," and the bunny gets it. And, you know, it's like, that's when the FBI come up, they start shooting up the plane, and, Poe and Grissom fight, and, you know, Poe actually takes, Grissom out temporarily, you know, when Poe tries to land the plane, plane's out of fuel, plane crashes in Vegas, and, at that point, you know, Cyrus, Grissom, Diamond Dog, and another one of the guys are getting away. They follow on the fire truck, and, like, you have basically Poe and Grissom going at it, fisticuffs, rough, just brutal fighting between both men. When Cyrus believes he has the upper hand, he has, you know, like, Poe by the throat, and he's saying, you know, "The last thing little Casey Poe is going to see is me over her with my stinking breath." And I forget what Cameron Poe said. He said something like, you know, "Not today," or, you know, "You're not going to see it today." And what happens is I forget. Like, I think he like stabs or does something with Cyrus's leg, and at the same time, Larkin put the fire hydrant down into the driver's section of the fire truck, and it was flooding the whole driving section, and it causes the fire truck to crash, and then the one convict goes through the windshield. I believe he died after that, and then you also have not Cameron Poe, like, Poe jumped off, but then, like, Cyrus, you know, that's what happened. Cyrus gets handcuffed to the ladder, and the ladder was going all the way up, and then apparently Cyrus crashes through this glass, which probably would have injured him pretty badly, and then he falls and crashes through electrical wire, which should have killed him. And then I guess they're working on this one hotel to where he's on this conveyor, you know, falls off this conveyor, and there's this conveyor that's crushing rock, and when he falls off the conveyor and he lands in the area where the rock crusher is crushing the rock, and it goes up and basically smashes Cyrus's head, killing him. So, fitting in for that villain from John Malcovich. But man, John Malcovich plays a despicable villain in this movie. So Cyrus Grissom, not a likable guy at all. I mean, you really would love to hate this guy because, I mean, he's that heinous. And again, I know people are saying there's other worse villains, and I'm like, there are, but I really think Cyrus Grissom should be pretty high on a villain's list because he really was a despicable motherfucker. Like, John Malkovich played him to a T to where you could not like this guy at all. And then let's see, we have, oh yes, Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi is in this movie, and he plays, I believe it's, Garland the Marietta Mangler Green. Yeah, he plays Garland Green, and he apparently is this psychopath who's like Hannibal Lecter, who they call the Marietta Mangler, and you have him come on like this is when they were at the other prison picking up Sal Bendino and a whole bunch of other convicts, and you have a late addition come through, and that's Garland Green, and they have Garland Green in a facial mask. His hands are all wrapped up, and they have him by these hooks to where he can barely move. His whole midsection is tied up, and they get him on the plane, and sadly, when Cyrus takes off, one of the guards had the video cassette of the FBI plant in his pocket, and they find out that something's wrong, so they try to stop Cyrus. Cyrus kills the one guard, and they get away with a little tiny shootout, and a bunch of other stuff happens. But as they're getting away and they're flying again, you have our Garland Green just sitting there all tied up, and you have Cyrus Grissom come up to him and say, love your work, and like everything that Garland Green did, because we just hear that Garland Green killed a lot of people. We don't know how many, but it's hinted at that he killed a ton of folks, and you just have Cyrus Grissom wanting to let him out, and say, and he's like telling Diamond Dog, hey, this is no way to treat a national treasure, let him out. Everybody else is nervous around him. Diamond Dog struggles to take off his restraints, and once they do, you just have Garland Green go there, and he sits right next to Baby O, and Baby O and Cameron Poe, and he just sort of sits there, and he doesn't do much throughout the film. He doesn't even really help out the prisoners as much. There's a point where Cameron Poe's getting upset because he's still on this ride. People keep dying on and off. He's getting upset, and he's it's right after Billy Bedlam was killed, and Cameron Poe comes up and he's like, huh, 2 went down, only 1 came up. So it's something when you kill somebody, isn't it? And you have Cameron go, I'm not like you. I'm not like any of you. I'm not a killer. Or a cold-blooded serial killer or murderer. And I know there was another thing that he mentioned, that Garland Green mentioned before. I don't remember what it was, but I know that Poe had said something like, I'm nothing like that. And then you have Garland Green saying, well, now you're just arguing semantics. It's just like, Poe says, I'm not like you, I'm not insane. And Garland Green's like, well, now you're just arguing semantics. Because insanity. What if I was to tell you insanity was going to your job every day, working that dead-end job from 9 to 5 every day, let's say for about 15 to 20 years, and then you get laid off to where all you become is a drunkard and possibly commit suicide or an absolute failure. Isn't that what they call a definition of insane? Sorry, I was looking over trying to emulate Garland Green, and I'm like, there's nobody standing next to me, so I don't know why I would act it out to T. And, you know, there's basically, similar stuff like that. And then when they get to the, second airport, like, and, you know, the plane is sort of stuck, and, you know, they're trying to push, you know, the plane out, and, like, try to fix everything, because they're wondering why Sal Bendino's plane hasn't arrived yet, and Sal's saying, you know, it'll come, you know, just, you know, you gotta get right, you gotta be patient, Cyrus, and, you know, so as a backup plan, they're trying to get, you know, the prison plane out of the ground, because it fell within the sand. And during this time, you know, Garland Green sneaks off to this trailer park neighborhood, to where there's this little girl playing in a bottom of a pool. And oh wait, yeah, I forgot. There was one part where Garland Green was talking to Cameron in that same scene, and he's like, you know, I once wore a girl's head through three states as a hat, and it's like, oh my god, the way he just drops that is like, man, that is sick, and you know this guy is a messed up person. And going back to where I was now, you know, Garland Green sees this little girl playing with her dolls in this pool, and then, you know, you have like Garland Green just sort of sit there, and the girl's like, are you okay? And Garland Green's like, I don't know. And she's like, you know, why do you wear those clothes? You know, she's looking at, because, like, Garland Green's in the white prison uniform, and Garland Green just stares at the girl and says, I'm a very sick man. Well, can you take medicine for that? There is no medicine for what I have. And, like, they just have this uncomfortable conversation, and and I admit, you watch this movie the entire time at this scene, and you're praying and hoping Garland Green isn't about to kill this girl, and you're wondering, where's this girl's parents, where's everybody else, because it really is a creepy scene. And when the battle is going on, finally when the cops show up and Sal Bendino's thing goes awry, you know, you have Garland Green hearing the attack and the explosions, and, you know, he just looks up concerned, but then he also creepily looks back at the little girl, to where the little girl's just like laughing like like that, and it's like, oh man, you know, you're just on pins and needles during this entire time. And when the convict plane gets away, you know, Garland Green is back on it, and he has the little girl's doll, or one of the little girl's dolls. You're like, oh shit, he didn't do it, did he? And then when the plane is flying above him, you know, you see where that may. Well, I'll check real quick, buddy, but that may have been me. Hold on. And sorry guys, I'm back finally. Sorry about that. But yeah, like so, like, you know, we see Garland Green have the little girl's doll, and, you know, as the plane's flying over the prison yard, we see the trailer park, and the little girl's like waving like, bye, see ya, come again, and, you know, you're like heaving a sigh of relief. And the one thing I've always wondered is why Garland Green didn't kill the little girl. Maybe it's because he knew if he did, there would be heat on him, or something like that, or maybe he didn't just see the reason to, because maybe there was a reason he murdered all these other people beforehand. But it was just, I don't know, it made me feel good that they did not take it to that route for this movie. So I'm like, I was so happy about that little girl did not get killed. And like, after they escape the second time, you know, they're all the criminals are all celebrating and dancing, and they're listening to Sweet Home Alabama by Lynyrd Skynyrd, and you have, like, Garland Green give this shit-eating grin, and he basically goes, and he looks at Poe, and he's like, define irony. Idiots dancing around on a plane to a band who died in a plane crash. I mean, you know, that was such a well-timed joke and a well-done joke. I mean, and, you know, coming from, again, Steve Buscemi, who's playing a psychopath, in this movie, and like barely doing anything. I mean, I admit, like, Steve Buscemi was a gem for this movie. He really was. I mean, doesn't do much, but he really stands out in this movie. And that line was classic. And then, you know, for his character, they go along. You know, the plane starts into Vegas, and the plane starts to crash. And then as everything's going out of control, you know, Poe's fighting with Cyrus. You've got all the other criminals, like, reaching, you know, crash position. And as the plane's going down, you have Garland Green with the doll in his hand. He's like, because like him and the little girl earlier in that part of the film were singing, you know, he's got the whole world in his hands. And, you know, Garland Green starts to sing that again. He's got, I got the whole, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. And as he's starting to sing this as the plane goes down, like, you know, like the guys are like, shut up, you crazy motherfucker, we're gonna die. And it's like, you know, it's like he's not bothered. Garland Green is not bothered by any of this at all. It's like, I mean, you can tell this guy is definitely nuts, but he plays it with such a lucidity that it's creepy and funny at the same time. Again, Steve Buscemi was a gem for this movie. And, you know, like, there's a part where, like, as the plane's crashing, he goes, little lady baby. You know, it's like, there's, like, a part where he just gets excited by the crash, and he's like, woo! Like that, and it's like, man, oh, man. And, when the plane crashes, you have the cops go through the wreckage, and they find, the doll, and they're like, man, what these crazy fucks are into, and, you know, it's like, you don't think of it. And, the movie ends where, you know, Poe and everybody else is together, and, you know, they won against Cyrus Grissom and all the other bad guys. And then, you know, you have this dealer at a casino in Vegas saying, bets, does anyone feel lucky tonight? Does anyone feel lucky? And you basically have Garland Green in this jacket, and he says, yes, he does. He feels very lucky. And he's, like, sipping on this daiquiri or drink, and it's like... So, the one guy who got away and who gets to have his freedom is Garland Green. Whether he goes off to murder more people, who knows? But it's like, I mean, for some reason, as strange as that is, you feel good with that. And that's a nice little comedic moment to end the whole film on. And I mean, it was a great, funny moment. I mean, Steve Buscemi, for his role as Garland Green, doesn't do much in this film. But I mean, Steve Buscemi's presence commands every time when he's on screen in this film. It is a role that just, I mean, it works. It works really well, and it is strange. Because his character doesn't add much to the film, but it's like, it works. He's there, and his presence is commendable in the film. Like, you can't take your eyes off him. Steve Buscemi is a gem, is Garland Green. I mean, he really is. And we also have, Ving Rhames, who I believe it's, yeah, let's see here. I just want to make sure I get it. I was right. It was Nathan Jones. I know there's an actor named Nathan Jones, but Ving Rhames plays Nathan Diamond Dog Jones, and Diamond Dog, you know, is this black man who's like, I mean, his character is set up like the Black Panthers, and he's totally against, you know, the white man and all that type of stuff, to where he wants to just cause chaos and have an order where his order's on top, people will follow his lead, you know, and Whitey will pay, and all these different types of things. So obvious psychopath as well, Nathan Diamond Dog Jones. And, you know, Diamond Dog, you know, is along with Cyrus Grissom in this one, to where he helps the breakout, causes all the havoc. And, you know, again, big guy in this movie, you know, commands, like, his thing, you know, is a serious presence. And what happens is like, there's a part where Diamond Dog and Poe are working together for a little bit, and Poe actually asks Diamond Dog, oh oh, come on. Sorry, guys. Little temporary sneeze there. My bad. But yeah, where like Poe asks Diamond Dog, he's like, if there's one thing I don't understand, Diamond Dog, what is a man like you who wants to give everything back to his people, doing with a cracker like Grissom, and he's like, and like Diamond Dog just looks at him and goes, a means to an end, my convict brother, a means to an end. Cyrus will have his little game for now, but then when it's time, the dog shall have his day. And then like, you know, he walks away, and then Poe sits down next to Baby-O, and Baby-O's like, what? He's like, I just realized we managed to get on a flight with every psychopath, nut house, and crazy convict in the United States. And it's like, yeah, you realize it's a big bad mess. And you know, like throughout this movie, you have Diamond Dog, you know, helping Cyrus Grissom, and you know, Ving Rhames is again just this violent, commanding presence, and you know, they basically do everything in tandem and stuff like that. And there's actually this one part too where like near the end of the film, Diamond Dog is the one who goes into the belly of the plane, finds Billy Bedlam, brings up the parole letter for Cyrus Grissom, and you know, like they have their thing, and again, you know, plane crashes, Diamond Dog, Grissom, and the other guy get away. You know, Larkin and Poe go after him, and I think what it is when Poe and Larkin are trying to go after them all, like you have, I mean, I forget what it is. I think Diamond Dog has a gun himself, or he has, or no, he starts using the fire hydrant hose. He's using the fire hydrant hose against Poe and Larkin, but they're dodging it on their bikes, and what goes on is that like I think Poe and Larkin fight with Diamond Dog for a bit, and I think they knock Diamond Dog on the side, and like Diamond Dog basically gets exploded by going into these electrical wires or electrical lights and windows, and basically just boom, explosion, and it ends up killing Diamond Dog. And you know, it was a nice, fun movie for Ving Rhames, and I know we're used to seeing Ving Rhames as a hero and stuff like that in the Mission Impossible movies, so it was nice to see Ving Rhames play a villain, because as far as I know, Ving Rhames hasn't played too many villains. I mean, if he has, you know, put down in the comments if he has, because it'd be interesting to see if he's done any other roles like this. And give me a moment, guys. I've got to shut my blinds. I've realized it's getting dark in here, and yeah, you can barely see my face anymore, so give me a moment. There we go. That's actually better. Wow. Well, I've never done a review this late, and holy crap, that looks unique and interesting. That's all I gotta say about that, guys. Wow, holy crap. Let's see here. And then, yes, we have Colm Meaney next. Colm Meaney, and I saw something here while I was looking at the film. Yes, it's Colm Meaney. He played a DEA agent, Duncan Malloy. So it wasn't the FBI. I was wrong. It was a DEA agent, and like when he comes in, you know, and they set up their plant, like you have you have Malloy coming in. You know, he's got this nice, good-looking car. It actually has on the back of his license plate AZZ Kirk, so it's like Ass Kirk or As Kirk, you know. So a little, you know, Star Trek reference right there, because he was a part of I think Star Trek Deep Space Nine at the time. So like Malloy just comes off as a prick, and all these different types of things. You know, like I said, he puts the plant on the plane to try to have the DEA get the information to the one prisoner that they need. And, like, you know, Larkin goes through his whole thing with Malloy saying there's no guns on this plane at all. You have, oh yeah, you have when the prisoners are going through their pat down, you have, like, Malloy get in front of this prisoner, and he's like, alright, guys, I'll handle this. So he's patting down, his guy, and then he, like, slips the gun into his ankle sock and covers his pants, and, you know, they let him in on the plane, so it's like, you know, great, and you know how all that turns out. And as soon as everything goes bad, Malloy just, like, he grinds Larkin so bad in this movie, just continually grinds him and rides him really bad. I mean, it's really just terrible to see. Like, Malloy is just a complete ass in this movie, and Cole Meany plays it so well. Like, when Malloy and Larkin's head want to try to stop Grissom and these convicts, you know, Larkin wants to go with, and then Malloy's like, no, you don't have the right, you mucked up, and then, you know, Larkin CO's telling him to stay back, and what happens is you have, this one part where, you know, they're trying to track the convict plane, and you have, like, Malloy and, Larkin CO tracking them, and the convicts actually put the flight recorder box into this one tourist plane to throw them off. So when Malloy and Larkin CO find, you know, that it's a tourist plane, the look on their face when they're tracking down the tourist plane is they're like boxing at him while it's flying is like, you know, wow, we mucked up bad. And, you know, like Malloy just, you know, keeps it up throughout the film. There's a part where, like, again, when Poe's trying to help them bring down the plane, and he's fighting with Cyrus and Diamond Dog on the plane and everything, you know, like, Malloy, you know, is trying to shoot down the plane, and, you know, like, they have these heavy-duty caliber bullets, you know, ricocheting through the plane, trying to bring the plane down, and, you know, Larkin is just getting so upset with Malloy, saying, you know, Malloy, wait, don't you see, you know, Poe is trying to help us bring down this plane. Let's see if he can get everything through in one piece. Please, listen to me. And, you know, Malloy doesn't listen to him for the longest time, and then Larkin makes one more plea, and Malloy finally listens to him, and they hold off, and, you know, that's when the plane crashes. All that jazz happens, and right at the end of the movie, you know, you know, Larkin and Malloy, they sort of, like, make up with each other, they have a thing, and then, oh yeah, like, what happens is, I forgot, Larkin ties Malloy's, car to the edge of the convict plane, and you see how, like, this plane, or this car, is, like, flying between the plane that he locked it to, and, I think Poe or somebody says, well, you don't see that every day, and then, like, you have, like, Larkin CO and Malloy looking at that, and, Larkin CO's like, Malloy, isn't that your car? Bam! When it crashes down right near him, and it's like, oh, man, you know, I guess Malloy deserved that. Yeah, where Larkin is actually apologizing to Malloy, and he's like, hey, Malloy, I'm sorry about your car. And he's like, oh, don't be. I hated that thing, or something like that, you know. I've got a way better one than that one. So, you know, a little bit of good humor there. But Cole Meany played that character really well. Just a complete ass, and he did it to perfection. We have, oh yeah, Mykelti Williamson, who plays Baby-O. And, like, Mykelti Williamson is, like I said, the prison friend of Cameron Poe in this movie, and, you know, like, he's actually headed to another prison to where he's trying to, you know, be as good as he can and get out, because I think he says he's got, like, another year or two to do before he's set free, but he's doing what he can to better himself, and he has diabetes, so he's trying to get his insulin shot. He wants to take it on the bus. The guards say they don't have it, and then that he'll get it on the plane. And what happens is when they're on the plane and the guards break free, the one guard that Cyrus first kills is the one that's carrying the insulin for Baby-O. So Baby O, has all the needles and everything break, and he's starting to like really start to sweat and like slowly start to lose it and like lose his life because he needs his insulin now. And Poe trying to like keep him calm. The guards are trying to help Baby O out as best they can too because they realize Baby O isn't involved in any of the stuff they're trying to do either. And it's sort of like a team effort. When they get to the second airfield, Cameron Poe does what he can to go throughout this airfield to find some insulin for him to take, which luckily he does find insulin for Baby O, and he gets it on the plane and gives it to him, and he gets better. And the one part when Grissom finds out about Poe almost, and Poe was about to come forward, you have Baby O jump up and say, "It was me, I did it all," and he's like, because I needed my insulin, so I was informing the cops because I thought I was gonna die, and you have Cyrus looking at Baby O go, "You've been near death this entire trip." And Baby O just stands up to him and says, "Yeah, pretty funny, ain't it, motherfucker?" And then Cyrus sadly shoots Baby O and he goes, "No, that's funny." And so shoot, you think Baby O's gonna die, and the guards and Poe are trying to help him, and that's where Poe's had enough, takes initiative, and plane crash, they're there, and before Poe goes after Grissom and Diamond Dog and everybody else, you have Poe seeing Baby O off in an ambulance, and he's like, "Take care of yourself, Baby O." So this was a nice role for McKelty Williamson to do. I mean, he's a very sort of pure character. He knows he's done wrong. It looks like he wants to make better for him. He's one of Cameron Poe's greatest allies. He plays the role very, very well. So I give him credit for that. We also have Rachel Ticotin, who plays, I believe it's prison guard. Yep, it's prison guard Sally Bishop, and Rachel Ticotin plays Sally Bishop, who's one of the main guards, who sadly, gets caught up in the foray. She's like a tough guard too. She really doesn't want any crap from Poe or Baby O or any of the other guys. So she's really trying to lay it on pretty thick with them, and mean it too. And when everything goes awry and she starts to get in trouble, there's this one prisoner who tries to rape Bishop, but then Poe gets in the way saying, "No, we don't want her defiled. We need her." The rapers are getting all pissed off, and Cyrus steps up and says, "Yeah, keep it in your pants. We don't need it. We need unharmed hostages. Possibly if things get bad, so keep it in your pants." And so there's that whole thing, and Bishop sort of keeps telling Poe, "I don't know why you're doing this. You could be free. You could just get out of here." And he's like, "I don't leave people behind. You're a good person, Sally Bishop. I'm not gonna leave you. Baby O's a good person. I'm not gonna leave him." So she sort of stays with him, and they go through their ups and downs throughout the film, and because she's afraid. I mean, and so's everybody else and Poe, and when things start going haywire, Sally Bishop is almost about to be raped by the rapist, but then Poe comes out of nowhere, kicks the crap out of him, locks him up, and says it. He's like, "You don't treat women that way." And I love how he just comes out with him like that because it's nice. And then Bishop knows for sure now that Poe means what he says. And there's actually a thing once again when the plane crashes and they're in Vegas that he's making his peace with her. She makes his peace with him, and he's like, "You take care, Sally Bishop." So it's a nice role for Rachel Ticotin, and I can buy her as a tough prison guard, and she really does what she can to help out, and does what she needs to, and it's really a cool thing and a nice role for her. there, and they have two more here, and I figured, probably would be good to mention them. And it's Monica Potter, who plays Trisha Poe. She, a very young Monica Potter for 1997, plays Trisha Poe. So yeah, again, the wife. I said the girlfriend a few times, but it's Cameron Poe's wife. And very nice, very sincere woman, very concerned about her husband. Monica Potter plays it well. Vince Larkin throughout the film tries to assure them that Poe's doing whatever he can to be okay. Trisha Poe actually tells Larkin that this is who her husband is. He always tries to do the right thing. It's a part of his training when he was a Marine. This is what he'll be. I just hope he comes home soon. She's very supportive of him, supportive of the daughter, and it's like Monica Potter plays the audience in this movie. She's what we feel throughout this film, and we hope that Cameron Poe, makes it back okay. What I like about the end of the film, after Poe and Larkin are done defeating Cyrus Grissom, is that when they're there together, Poe gives the daughter the gift. The daughter doesn't know what to think, and there's this nice part at the end where basically Casey Poe, his daughter, embraces Cameron. Cameron's all sad and choked. God, I'm even getting choked up remembering the scene, because it is a bit of a sad scene. And she hugs him, he hugs her back, and then she sort of hugs him together, and they sort of like an embracing dance, and they play the song "How Could I Be Without You," at the end of the film. So it's a really nice touch, and Monica Potter played a nice little role for this film, and it worked really well. She really was representative of the audience. And then we had a comedic criminal in this movie, Dave Chappelle, who played Joe Pinball Parker, and Pinball, was like the comedic character prisoner in this movie. Obviously a tough convict as well. Worked with Grissom and Diamond Dog. Had the gasoline in his mouth in the bag. Sprayed it on the prisoner to put him on fire. And he's like, "Oh man, we got a spontaneous combustion. West of the Mohicans is on fire here. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't have gotten a circle and started singing Kumbaya." Man, he's like the village people that all getting on fire and shit. So Dave Chappelle's just like spitting them off one and another right at that part, and he helps both Diamond Dog and Cyrus out of their pens, and I remember there's a part where after they escape and take over the plane, there's a part where Cyrus ignores Pim. Oh wait, yeah, it's when because I forgot the DEA plant grabs Pinball and holds the gun to Pinball's head, and he says he's going to kill Pinball, and Cyrus says, "Go ahead, do it. What do I care?" So after that guy gets killed, Pinball go, "Hey, Cyrus, you didn't mean any of that stuff you said." And he's like, "Yes, I did mean it. I meant every word of it." And he just walks away, and Pinball's like, "Man, what the fuck have I gotten into now?" And it's like, well, yeah, man, you're helping a bunch of guys who you think there's camaraderie here. There's no camaraderie at all. It, doesn't exist. And when they get to the second prison near the airport, you have they send Pinball out to put the plane black box transponder into the tourist plane, and as Pinball does that, he's all dressed up like a prison guard, trying to get the thing together, and then he sees this nice black lady who's there getting ready for the tourist plane, and he starts smitten with her and getting with her, and just doing the smooth talk, and he smits with her so long that when he puts it on the plane, he should have been getting back there, the plane starts taking off. The dude looks at the girl and he's like, do you hear something like a plane, starting and going? And he, starts to run after the plane. And he sees the Indian guy he burned. I think his name was Chief. And, he's running at the side of the plane. And he's like, Chief, help me. You got to tell him to stop. You got to let me on. And then we just see Pinball fall. We don't know what happened to him. Chief is laughing at Pinball's predicament. And then, when the one pilot flying the plane, pilot convict flying the plane says, they've got some extra weight, go down to the underbelly, see what's going on. They get down to the underbelly where all their stuff is, and they see where one of the tires are coming up, and Pinball actually got snagged within the tires, and he got crushed on the underbelly of the plane, so he's dead. So what happens is both Diamond Dog and Poe are out there, trying to get him out, and Diamond Dog forces Poe to do all the work, and Poe takes the time to write where the convicts are going, and they're going to Lerner Air. That's what the second airport is. It's Lerner Airfield. They're headed to Lerner Airfield, and he writes it down on a marker that I think he got from his box, and he's writing it on Pinball's shirt. And then all of a sudden, you hear Diamond Dog say to Poe, he goes, "What, boy?" And Cameron turns around thinking he's exposed, and he got found out. And then Diamond Dog just pretends to shoot Cameron, and he's like, "Gotcha." And as he goes away, you have Poe toss Pinball's body out, and you have Diamond Dog say, "Bye, Pinball." And as the body's falling, it falls onto a car where you had a man and a woman talking, and the guy's trying to keep his car clean with bird poop, and then the body falls on the car, letting him know where they are. So it's like, my God, So overall, I know this was a huge cast thing this time around, but it is a pretty damn big cast. Danny Trejo is also in it. He plays Johnny 22, the rapist who gets the crap kicked out of him by Cameron Poe. So I'll make a small mention here. Danny Trejo plays a nice, menacing rapist in this movie. Holy crap, doesn't have his signature mustache or goatee, but he's in this movie as well. He dies as well in this movie when the plane crashes and he's hooked up to the plane. His arm gets severed off, and they're taking his body away. So the crash killed him, and he lost his arm. So hey, Danny Trejo sadly dies again. So small mention of Danny Trejo here. And overall, with the rest of the movie, you've got let's see, the score is done by Simon West, and it was directed by Simon West, and the score was done by Mark Mancina and Trevor Rabin, who did a great score together. It's like a huge rocking type score. It's got a lot of rock themes. There is actual score in the movie, but it's also played with a bunch of guitar and rock. It's like a real fun movie score. So it really gets you revved up for the action for this film. So Mark Mancina and Trevor Rabin did do a great score for this movie. It is directed by Simon West, who I don't know what other action films he's done, but I'm definitely familiar with the name, and I know he's a famous action movie director. I just can't remember any of the films Simon West has done at the moment. And it's also produced, he isn't the executive producer. That's Chad Amani, Jonathan Hensley, and Peter Bogart, Jim Kolf, and Lynn Bigelow. Jeez Louise. Lots of executive producers, but he is the main producer of this film, Jerry Bruckheimer. So you can see for an action film like Pirates of the Caribbean and all these different types of things, you can see where this is right up Jerry Bruckheimer's alley. It's definitely his type of action adventure film. And again, overall, very fun film, great action, great characters, great stuff. I think between the three main characters, Nicolas Cage, John Cusack, and John Malcovich, all-star performances. All-star performance definitely by Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi just commands the screen. The story is pretty basic, but it's a fun story. You know, it's a feel good. I saw this movie for the first time in the hospital when I was going through cancer. So this movie has a special, you know, area in my heart because like any of those big time movies I saw while recuperating on cancer, you know, they sort of stuck with me because I realized even if some of them were cheesy, they were fun. Because I know some movies came on that were bad, like Sleepless in Seattle. I've switched the channel so many times because I'm sorry, guys. I know Sleepless in Seattle is a good movie to a lot of people, but I mean, maybe I'll try it again one of these times, but I could not get into that movie. I could not get into Sleepless in Seattle. So, like, Con Air stuck with me for around that time because it was a great action film, and believe it or not, I actually watched it with my mom while in the hospital. So it was fun that me and my mom got to have a lot of fun watching this movie while I was recuperating in the hospital from cancer. So, you know, I mean, it was fun all the way to that altogether. But, you know, I mean, just a very fun movie, a great amounts of action, you know, great villains that you can love to hate and you want to see them lose and have the good guys triumph. It's great stuff overall. Pretty good length of a movie too, hour and 55 minutes, great length for an action movie. You know, enough time to get the story in, action, all the fun. So great stuff. I give this movie give it a 10 out of 10. I don't think I give it a 10 out of 10, but I would say this is a solid 9 out of 10. It's pretty damn high because it's great fun. It's good stuff. I mean, it really is a great movie. So solid 9 out of 10 for me. You know, and you know, there's all that stuff. And you know what? I almost forgot I was about to end it because I know I've been, I know it may be shaved down a little. Because, one sec. Ugh. Sorry guys, I am losing the feeling in my ears. That is not good. Not good at all. Oh man. Well, I hate how part of my hair is sticking up like a tuft, but oh well. But I almost forgot. I forgot to do the rating. So I know, I mean, because like right now from my timestamp, it has me at an hour and 28 minutes. I don't know if this is going to be that long. I know this one's going to be long, but that was a lot of cast to go through. So, you know, you got to bear with me on that. A lot of cast in this movie. So, you know, thank you for bearing with me through all that. Because like I said, that's my main thing for talking about the story and the things for these movies is I mentioned the cast and I'll just go through it like that. Because I find that to be way more fun than just recalling the entire movie as I was. So let's see here. So like how I said right in the beginning when I saw this, we have the ratings, again, from the trademarked RottenTomatoes.com. And 56% from critics. 56%. Why am I not surprised by that? Because you know what? If there's one thing I've learned, guys, from all the recent reviews that I've done this, since I started doing this, I think I started doing this from Die Hard, if I remember. And what have I been learning? That critics hate action movies. 56% from critics. Cannot believe that. No, you know, movie critics don't know how to have fun. I'll just say that. They don't know how to have fun because here's the difference from the audience. 75%. So a fresh audience. You know, the popcorn box is there. Popcorn box is up, motherfuckers. So audiences love this movie. It's a fun film. I mean, you know, if I ever do, one of the jobs I wouldn't mind getting, and if my videos on YouTube ever become famous enough and somebody wants me to do current or go through all my old movies like I'm doing now and maybe write reviews for them, or like if these become famous and people want my reviews to become famous, and you know, I know it's unlikely, you know, and I thank the 31 of you who have subscribed to my channel and stuck with me so far. So I thank you for that. I can't believe my channel's gotten up to 31 people, and I'm actually, I'm giving high praise for you guys at 31 people. So man, I mean, I never thought I'd have that because I slowly went from having like 8, and then I jumped to 12, and then okay, 15, and then 20, and then Holy crap, I'm starting to get a small fan base growing here. I like it. But I thank you guys who've stuck through me. But like, again, for folks like us, 75%. So fans like this film. Critics, come on. But I will now give you the overall consensus and see what they have here. And I quote, and obviously it's a rotten, Con Air won't win any awards for believability, of course. And all involved seem cheerfully aware of it. Of course! Making some of this blockbuster action outing's biggest flaws fairly easy to forgive. Couldn't you have given this a positive? Because why is it a rotten? That almost seems like, yes, we know the story is flawed. Yes, the actors know it as well. But it's a fun movie. I would say that's a positive review. What the hell's wrong with you, Rotten Tomatoes? Or maybe not Rotten Tomatoes in general, but what the hell's wrong with you, critics? That's almost like a positive consensus. Like, what the hell? I don't understand that. I do not understand that. Wow. I don't know why that is still around. That should be a positive, in my opinion, after reading that. Alright. Well, 'tis a little mixed. I will give, let's see, I will give you, the, 6 quotes that I have here. Let's see, we have a top quote, which is a positive, from February 28th of 2018 from David Anson of Newsweek, and I quote, "The saving grace of Con Air is its sense of its own absurdity. Rosenberg and director Simon West seem to know just how preposterous their story is." There you go. See, that's just it. You talk about the absurdity of the movie, how fun it is. It's an action movie. You have fun with the action movies. It's the whole point of an action film. You can't take it so seriously. I mean, you can have fun with it. The ones that sort of are like that, I would say, are all the Dirty Harry films, or, Bullet, The French Connection, the 7-Ups, because those are more based in the realism and the detective police work. I mean, a lot of the stuff that came from the late 70s to the 80s and even into the 90s, like Con Air here, they're meant to be fun. They're not meant to be taken seriously. So thank you, David Anson. That is a great quote right there. Let's see. This one is from, oh God, I should have expected this. It's a rotten review from January 5th, 2018 from Carol Buckland of CNN. Rotten, and I quote, "It's exhausting rather than exhilarating." Yeah, I'd expect that from you CNN assholes. I'd expect that. Exhausting rather than exhilarating. How the fuck do you get exhausted with this movie? I mean, it's not like the action is balls to the wall, just like bam, 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 bam. There's a lot into it, but you get breaks. You get breaks with comedy, storytelling, character development. I don't know, that's stupid. I expect nothing less from CNN. You flipping cucks. Alright, let's see. Another positive review here. And this is from June 6th of 2017 from Dwayne, I'm going to say Berg or Berge, so sorry if I butchered that, from the Hollywood Reporter, and I quote, "Packed high with explosive action and loaded with high-stakes jeopardy, Con Air charts a generally sound narrative course, although it hits some story turbulence before it hits the climactic jackpot." Yes! Yes, Dwayne Berge or Berg. That is a great way to sum up this film. I love you. That is a great way of how I look at this movie. Yes, there is a lot of ridiculousness in this movie, but this movie is fun, and you know what? The narrative is actually pretty solid. It's a solid story. It's ridiculous, but it's solid and it works. I mean, you enjoy the ride. Exactly. And now, Okay, here's a bit of a... Well, I had two funny ones for you. A rotten review from Owen Gleiberman from Entertainment Weekly. And this was from September 7th, 2011. And it said a quote not available. And we have one from one from Susan Stark of the Detroit News from October 18th, 2008. A rotten review, but quote not available either. So, two rotten reviews and no quotes. You guys got something to hide about what you're talking about? Or did Rotten Tomatoes not like what you mentioned? Oh. Alright, and here's one more quote. And this is from Todd McCarthy of Variety of September 18th, 2008. And, let's see. Rosenberg's sarcastic, tough guy dialogue is full of lean and mean one-liners, and superbly cast actors know how to milk them for all they're worth. Yes! Yes! I would have mentioned a little more on the action, but yeah, the dialogue is, you know, yeah, the dialogue, I mean, it is ridiculous throughout the whole film, but again, you love the characters who are goofy and bizarre. And, you know, the comedy's great throughout this movie from start to finish. And for the characters who are innately evil, we love to hate them. Because Rosenberg, for his script, which I believe, yeah, that is the writer for this movie. That is, yes, Scott Rosenberg wrote this film. Yeah, I mean, Scott Rosenberg really knows how to like the heroes, and he really throws a lot of shade at the villains, even though the villains do have a lot of comedic moments themselves, but he throws a lot of shade at them because you really love to hate these guys. You want these guys to get their due comeuppance. I mean, yes, so Todd McCarthy, right on. That is a great review. And, you know, I mean, it's good stuff. But yeah, CNN, I expected nothing from, you know, their dumbasses. I mean, that usually is right up their fucking alleyway for their bullshit. So again, you know, for final thoughts on Con Air, I'm sorry I sort of rushed my bit of an ending there. I mean, I guess I could do that and then do the review, but again, down below, what do you guys think of Con Air? Do you think this is a fun movie that exists? Do you guys find it stupid? I know when this movie came out, a lot of my friends and people talked about this movie. This movie was very popular back in the late 90s. We all loved it. I never saw it, like I said, till 2003, 2004, when I was going through chemotherapy with my cancer, because it was around that time that I had found out that I had it. And, you know, as much as a terrible time that was, this film was a fun film. And, you know, it was a nice experience to keep me happy when I was going through a bad time. You know, overall fun film. So, what do you guys think? Do you like Con Air? Do you want to, you know, see this film? I mean, is it a good one for you? Is it, you know, good fun? Just leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. And, you know, till then, I will say in a regular tone, deuces. But let me let you know again, with absolute power and clarity, fuck the usual. Joe Biden, the establishment, and all that shit. But, but let me take this up one more time, because I do not want to take this probably for the whole time, because I don't know how long I'm going to go on this rant. But I will tell you, Fauci, Anthony fucking Fauci, you fuck. Got caught with your hand in the cookie jar, huh? Your fucking emails? Whether they were released or leaked, I know people have that thing. I will say, from the way it sounds, from what I've seen, they were released. But oh man, trying to cover your tracks, huh? Switching and juking and jiving and not knowing what to do? But then making stuff up like you knew all along? Masks hardly didn't work, huh? Just like the CDC said about a week and a half ago that, oh, it depended on the droplet size and the restoration. Or, if you had, or not restoration, if you had respiratory problems. Huh? And, there's something that the virus came from China, and, things point to say that their proteins have altered it. Oh, my deputy, I gotta talk to you in the AM. There's tasks for you to perform. I have to have you perform tasks. We have to get on this. There's tasks you need to do. What were those tasks? What did he need to do? Because China was altering a virus. Huh? I know China denies it, but, a lot of evidence points to them. I don't care if this gets me in trouble or not. Flag me, what the hell, I don't give a shit. But you, my friend, have a lot to be accountable for. You are a liar, a lying, sadistic son of a bitch. You have a children's book that should not exist. You're trying to get a second book out that they haven't put out because you know what? These emails, for most of the public who are willing to believe it, we should all believe this because this man has flip-flopped more than we can count. You are a fucking liar, Anthony Fauci. You have lied to us for over a year. You have protected communist governments with their own interests. You have protected this government with its own interests. While, mind you, you were undermining President Trump. But oh no, now that you're a part of the Biden administration, can't do no wrong, huh? Can't do no wrong. And there's that email that was a part of the same thing. Oh, Trump wasn't trying to undermine me. He wasn't stopping me. But then you went on your little, news shows, and you're saying that Trump was holding you back. But then in your email, you said that, oh, he never did. Who are your apologists? And, I'm not saying it's any of my subscribers or anything, but you know what? People need to stop apologizing for you. Because you have no idea what the hell you're doing. So, I hope somewhere down the line, someone gets a brain in their head, and you're put before an inquiry, and you get in trouble, whether that's through fines or prison time. But man, oh man, you need it and deserve it. Because, again, I believe you're a liar. I think you've lied to us this entire time, and just like the establishment and Joe Biden, fuck you right in the ass. You can take your 2 books, shove them right up your ass, and you can have surgery to have someone remove them. Because you know what? Only an idiot would have their kids read that shit, and only an idiot would read that shit. Just like, let me see, what's another book? Oh yeah! Hi, Andrew Cuomo, you fuck! So, been a long one there, guys. But you know what? Fuck it all. Fuck the establishment. Good night!